I've modeled a couple of steampunk type things before. I've done a robot lamp, I've done just a general steampunk lamp, and I've had various steampunk gears in some scenes. And I came across this rocket lamp. There was various images of it, and I gave it a go just to get the concept down. And I think it would be a real fun project to do and get a nice result. So I've got a few reference images, and this is just something I whipped together that I'll use to sort of try to remember what I want to do and make some modifications as well. There's a lot of Blender tips and tricks in here. Nothing overly complicated, mind you. So let's give this a go. All right, so I'm over here in my version of Blender, an older version of Blender, but they'll all do. I'm going to press 1 to look from the front. My screencast keys are on there. And to start it off, let's bring in a UV sphere and switch this to 16. I'm going to use this to create the bulb. All right, so let's go into wireframe and press 1 and border select the bottom half and delete that, and then shift alt and click that row of vertices and zoom out a little bit and extrude that down. And that's going to be our bulb. Okay, so go back into solid view. We can shade smooth that. So we're going to use that. Now, let's take that and move it up. And let's press 2 for edge selection and shift alt and click there. That'll get the whole ring of vertices or edges. Shift D to duplicate, S to scale just a little bit, pull it up a little bit, and let's break it out. E to break it out. And let's take that in edit mode and extrude it down a little bit. And let's come back to here, and I'm making this piece here. This has to be long enough for this to attach with a little bolt on it. So let's make it sort of like that. And then we're going to do a shorter one here. That's extruded a little bit out. But first, let's select that whole thing, and let's scale Shift Z, not in the Z, just to make it a little wider like that. 2 for edge selection, Shift Alt and click there, E and S, and just pull it in like that. Now actually, I think a better way, because this is going to be glass, let's not do it that way. Let's take the whole thing and E and Alt S and pull it all in, and we'll keep that inside face in case we see through it. That's a better idea. Okay, so now we're going to take this edge, I'm going to bevel that, Control B, pull, that's 2, I want 3 edges there. And I just want to think about this bottom one here. Let's see, because we're going to do another one of these. In fact, I could probably take this. Let's do that. Shift D to duplicate, just pull it down. Let's scale it out like this. But I need this long enough so those other pieces can attach. And let's see, let's take that and hide that in case I see in. I don't think we're going to see down there too far. So how about if we come in here and maybe we'll delete these faces. Okay, we're really not going to see those, and just get rid of them, and that's okay so far. So 3 for face selection. This one is a shorter one like that. Okay, so far we would have this kind of thing, but I think I'm going to delete those faces, and let's see, bring that back. All right, if I Control 1, I could get it smooth. I'm not going to do that right now. I might later. Let's check the face orientation, looking good. So where are we at? We've got this one, and I need a bigger one now. So I'm going to come in here, and let's just maybe grab a circle this time. Shift D, scale it out a bit, pull it down to there. Maybe I'll break this one out, take that and extrude down. This one is going to be longer because I'll have these things attached to it. So let's come down a nice ways like that. And this one we can just go E and S and pull it in. I don't think we're going to see down that far. Let's bevel this edge with 3, and then come down here, and let's take that and just F to make a face. Let's bevel that like this, And then we'll take this face and I'll press I to inset, and we'll make the connection for the base. Come down like that, and maybe we'll inset, extrude up, and get rid of that face so there's a place for this to attach. I might take this edge and pull it up a bit further, although it'll be blocked, as you'll see. Shift Alt and click these edges and bevel them with 3, and this one like that. We can shade smooth, and this is what we have so far. Okay, that's all right, I think. Okay, so what to do next? How about we work on the sort of cage part to this? All right, and then we'll work on as much of this as we can. And there will be tweaks along the way. Okay, so the only thing is I think I may want it a little shorter. Okay. I'm in front view, I'm going to Shift Alt and click that edge that goes right to the top. And then I'm going to Shift and click that edge and that edge. I don't want those. Shift D to duplicate and pull it out towards the front like that. P to break it out. So I've got that piece there. Look from the front, it's right in the center. Okay, and I'm going to want it to come down. Hang on. I'm just going to pull it down a little bit more. It's not really important. Okay, so with that selected, I'm going to press E to extrude, and I'm going to pull out to give it the width that I want, something like maybe that. Select it, and then I'm going to move it till it's in line with this, as centered as I can. It's not really going to matter that much. So that's the piece that I've got. Now, parts of it may, see the way some of it's blue and some of it's red? I'm going to Alt and recalculate outside. Okay, now we're going to take this. I'm going to press E and Alt S and pull. And give it some thickness. All right, good. Okay, the next thing I want to do, I'm going to take it and I'm going to move it a little bit closer. And I may adjust the height and all that stuff. But I'm going to come down to the bottom and select that bottom face and look from the front. I'm going to press E, pull down. I'm going to scale in the X, E, and just come down like that. Now I may, let's see. So I'm going to lengthen that in a bit, but first I'm going to look from the side and just pull this up so that it's kind of an equal distance here all the way around, like that. Okay, look from the front again, and I'm going to box select this, and I'm going to pull it up just a little bit above, and then box select here and pull down. Something like that. Now let's see what happens if we move it GY so that it sort of looks like it makes contact. How does it look all around? I think actually it needs to come down, and just keep positioning it like that. I can still move this down. In fact, what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to box select here and I'm going to pull up, and that's going to attach to a circle. So that's fine, probably like that. All right, so let's come back here, maybe make that a little bit shorter, just like that. And let's do some beveling. So let's select this edge and this edge, and Control B and pull with 3, round it off nicely, and then Shift Alt and click this edge and this edge, Control B and pull, round those, and then Shift Alt and click the outer edge. And it's going to take a few clicks to get it all. I'm going to come up to here. Actually, before we do that, we can get rid of that face. We're not going to need it. It's going to be hidden. So Shift Alt to click, and we're going to go on the inside as well, or the underside, and then just come down here and just finish off the selection. Shift Alt and click, make sure you've got it all, and once you do, Control B and pull with 3, give it a nice bit of rounding. We can shade smooth, and we'll adjust any shading errors later. Okay. Okay, the only thing is, I think that's probably fine. I'm going to select here, Shift S, cursor to selected, bring my 3D cursor there, and I want a circle, and you know what, I'm just going to borrow one of these. Shift Alt and click that edge, or that circle, Shift D to duplicate, pull it out, scale it down, F to make a face, and P to break it out. We're going to make a little bolt out of that. Let's rotate X 90, and I'll just extrude it back a little bit. X faces, select that face, Control B, and make a nice round kind of bolt like that. And then we'll get the size of this. Pull that in, look from the front, and move it down and scale it till we have something that we like. And shade smooth. Something like that looks okay. Check the orientation. This thing's flipped. Recalculate. Okay, I'm going to take this and this and I'm going to join them together because we'll be rotating this around in a bit. In fact, we're going to try that now. Okay, so I'm going to select the main bulb and Shift S, cursor to selected, bring my 3D cursor there, select this, and then we're going to switch to 3D cursor, make sure my pivot's there, go into edit mode and Shift D, rotate 180. Select everything, Shift D, rotate 90. And this is just a bit of a test. I may have to redo this. Probably will put a subdivision on this stuff. Okay. All right, so let's come in here and grab any one of these circles. Shift D to duplicate, pull it up. Let's get it back to median point. Let's break this out. Scale that down a bit and kind of position it. And I'm just going to extrude up so you can see those will be covered. And I just want to see how close to the bulb I am. I may have to move these up a bit, but it's going to be roughly that thickness. I'm going to E and Alt S. No, it's going weird. So if it does that, just press merge by distance in case there's anything there, and Alt N, recalculate outside. In fact, I think maybe the way I'll do it is I'm going to fill that and take that and fill that, and then if I need to make a hole in it, I will. So let's grab those two faces and Control B to bevel and do that and shade smooth. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower the bulb again. Like I said, there's going to be frequent tweaks. Border select, pull that down like that. So I'm really kind of gone away from the equalness there and there. I guess it needs to be this way. So let's take this and just pull it so like that. I'm going to scale this in the Z, make it a little bit thicker so it looks like those attached to it. Yeah, something like that is okay. Okay, now I just want to look at these and decide where I want them to be. I do have them protruding up quite a bit more, so I think I'm going to do that. So I'm going to go into edit mode and border select, say there, and pull it up like that. I think that's looks a little nicer. And I can temporarily fix this by adding a weighted normal and normal's auto smooth to get it to look like that. Okay, so let's do the cross pieces now. These things here, they can either be cylinders or they can be more rectangular round things, if that makes sense. So to do that, let's grab this circle, Shift D to duplicate and pull it down, and then scale it out, and then P to break it out. And we can get the size we need in a minute. So take that and E to extrude, give it some thickness like that, not too much, maybe similar to the width of this. And let's go E and Alt S, and see if it goes funny again. It's because part of it is red and part of it is blue. That's because of the way I'm copying it. Alt N, recalculate outside, E and Alt S, and pull. I'm going to have it come in. And it doesn't exactly have to be thicker than this because I'm going to put something on it, but I'm probably going to scale Shift Z anyhow. Do something like that. Okay, now I'm going to Shift Alt and click the edges. All four edges going all the way around. Shift Alt and click. Control B and give it a nice bit of rounding like that. shade smooth. And really it would look better with a subdivision. So we'll do that. And then take that, and I'm going to use an array in the Z, and I'm going to come up. So let's zero out the X. And I just basically want 3 of these, and just spread them out so you think you like the position of that. And I may scale Shift Z just to move them out a bit. We'll go like that. So we've got some subdivision on here and some not. And so we'll have to apply various things and clean it up. But the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little cylinder to cap that off. So I think I'll take this circle. I do this a lot. Shift D to duplicate, pull it out, scale it down, P to break it out. Take that and just extrude it down like that. And this is going to go sort of there, but I'll fix it up in a second. So let's just pull it in and see. I don't want it to hit the bulb, so I'm going to scale Shift Z. I just want those things to look like they're going into it. I'll scale Shift Z a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to take the top and the bottom, and I'm going to bevel those with 3. I think something like that's going to be okay. And if I wanted to, I could even scale it in the X, warp it a little bit. I think I'm going to do that. I think that looks fine. So I'm going to take that and just Shift D to duplicate and just put it in by eye like that and like that. Okay, let's check. All right, we got some stuff to flip. At this point, I think I will go ahead and apply the subdivision to this, but maybe I'll come in and I'll clean it up a bit. Let's slash key and just focus on this one and get rid of some of these edges that we don't need. Like I can easily dissolve those 3 on the inside and outside. And I kind of like the roundness on the top. Maybe I could do, let's just try getting those 3. So it's almost as if I've got my 3-part bevel there. I think that's good enough. Still think it looks smooth enough, and we managed to get rid of some. The only thing is, it looks like I moved something. So let's get this back into position. Something like that. Okay. So what we'll do is let's set the 3D cursor again. Go into edit mode, Shift D, rotate 180. Select it, all Shift D, rotate 90. So they're all there. Yeah, something like that's all right. So I got those, and I got that. It's got the array. I really should do some unwrapping before I apply this, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to select that, and I'm going to select those. Control J. I'm going to join those, and these things have that on it, and I'm going to join that stuff. I may be rotating this whole thing by 45 degrees. We're going to see later on. Okay, and because I've joined all that, I'm going to merge by distance just to see everything seems okay, and that's fine. Now what I will do is I'm actually going to take the top again, and I'm going to scale it in the Z. I'm going to flatten it out just a tiny bit. All right. I'll do something up at the top later, but what I'd like to work on right now are these parts that have, so that's a bulb, and these are bulbs as well that kind of look like the space stuff. But I want to make a little small change to that, as you'll see in a bit. So what I'm going to do here is, first of all, come back to median point, look from the front. I'm going to steal a circle from one of these circles, Shift D, I'm going to pull it out to the side, scale it down, P to break it out. I'm going to take that and I'm going to rotate 90 and then position it sort of like there. Okay, so that's actually going to be inside, whatever. So I'm going to extrude out like this. F to make a face. And let's just see how far I come out with these. Come out that much, really. Something like that. Now, bring the 3D cursor there. Shift S, cursor to selected, and look from the front. I'm going to use the spin tool to create sort of like a curved pipe thing. I'm going to press N and go to View. My 3D cursor, I'm thinking about the Z direction. I'm just going to hold Shift. I'm going to pull this down just a little bit underneath like that. And to close that. Now, scroll along here with your mouse wheel. Find Spin. Switch to the Y. And pull this around. I'm going to set this to -90. And I don't need that many steps. I'm going to try, let's try 6 first of all. I think 6 is going to be fine. So we have this curving around like that. All right. So go back to there. That's my piece. I think it may come out a little bit too far. So I'm going to push it in like that. And I just want to make sure that it's open. Yeah, it is open there. And the next thing I'm going to do is add like sort of a lip on this. Select that. And I'm going to press E and S and pull out, not too far. E, come down. See, like a pipe. And then that's closed off, so that's fine for the moment. Let's bevel. Let's bevel these. Control B. I just want to make sure I've got 3. I'm going to have to bevel here as well. And then we can shade smooth, and that's what it's going to look like. I just want to come over to this one here. See, I've done that little lip. Now, we can do just the bulb right now. There is some other stuff I want to do. Or we can do this kind of a thing. All right, you see, it goes like this, goes in. I'm going to do a little bit of thread there. I'll do those pieces in a bit. I kind of like this before the bulb. So I'm thinking of that. But just before we do that, let's do the thread here. So let's slash key to focus on that. And let's grab this edge and pull it out. And let's come back. I just want to pull it out past here. So we'll see a little bit of thread as we go in. We also have to pull it out because there's another piece going on there. So let's go E and S, scale it in a little bit, extrude it out like that. We're going to bevel this edge and this edge, both edges, with 3, like that. And then I'm going to roll my mouse up 3 times. And I may scale these in the X to get them a little closer and pull them. That's close enough. Okay. The way I'm going to do my thread is Control B, pull, roll back till you just have 2 edges on each of these. Do something like that, and then E and Alt S and push. Push them out a little ways. And it'll sort of look like thread. Now there's another piece that's going to go on there, but we'll deal with that in a second. I just want to come back to this and have a look at it. All right, you see we've got this piece and then there's a hole inside it, and then it's this one. So let's see if we could make that. So let's use this. In fact, let's inset like that, and we'll push up, and then let's break it out and use this circle. Just going to pull it down. Okay, just before I do that, let's come back to this so we don't forget. Shift Alt and click that edge. We need to bevel it, and we're going to bevel it with 3. Okay, so this guy is going to fit in there with some thread, so make it a little bit smaller. It's going to come down a little ways. We're going to have thread on there, and then what's it going to do? And then it's going to expand to this, and a little bit smaller. So let's just try to do it. Okay, so thread, then it's going to expand to a thing like this. Got to go back and forth. Then it's going to come in a little bit. E and S come in a little bit. I'm just going to start this coming down and see what it does. Okay, it's going to come down straight, and then it's going to come out on an angle. Okay, was it there? I got to come straight, and then it's going to come down on an angle. So scale like that. Okay, so we got the angle, then it's going to come down, and it's going to flare out again. Okay, so come down. How far? About twice that angled one. Something like that. Then it's going to go E. And that. And then I'm going to press I to inset. We'll go like that, and we'll extrude up. And let's break that circle out as well, because we could use that for the bulb. Let's just bring it down, and let's come back and do some beveling on this and fix it up. I think this will be a cool addition. So I want 3, right? And I'm going to want to do this one. And I'm going to want to do the one underneath. Is that the one underneath? Yes, it is. Okay, and I'm going to want to do this. But these two I'm going to do not too big, because I want it kind of sharp. A little bit sharp anyhow, like that. And then I'm going to do these two. And they're going to do this one. They don't all have to be the same or anything. And then let's not forget this one with 3 as well. All right, cool. Okay, let's put the thread on this. Let's just focus on it. Yeah, we need to get rid of that face. That was causing some shading problems. And again, we could put a subdivision if we want. Let's just throw some thread on. I'm just going to do 3, Control B, roll back to just the 2, E and Alt S, and push. No, okay. What I need to do is, okay, I'm just going to make sure, and I'm going to merge by distance. All right, I may have hit something wrong. I need to Shift Alt and click these again, E and Alt S, and push. There we go. Slash key, and that looks like it sort of fits in there. Okay, that's cool. Of course, we'll copy this all the way around, and then later on in Substance Painter, I'll try to put some, little things on the pipe. Yeah. All right. Okay. And for this piece here, I'm simply going to, let's see what I'm going to do here. I think I'm going to come down, scale in, put an edge loop on here, scale out, and let's see, do I got that whole thing? I might want it longer. I'm going to try it this way. It's sort of a simple thing. Control B and roll up a bunch. Just maybe something like that. And then select here, Control B. I only need 3 here. Just kind of round it out to the end. And I just want to think about, I think I put something on there. Maybe I'll E and S come out a little bit. E, come up, and just bevel this. And maybe I'll have to bevel that. I'll just make it a little smaller, so it kind of fits like that in there. This could have been a little, this could have been done maybe. Let me see if I can, what do I want to do here? Maybe I can dissolve those edges, grab that and do a little bit more. Yeah, that's not much more. So we need to do where this attaches. And to do that, I'm going to see if this is a straight circle to use. It's going to look from the front. Let's try it. Shift D, scale it out, P to break it out. I think it's going to be fine. And what I'm going to do is pull that back like that. I'm going to look from the side, and I'm going to border select the bottom vertices and get rid of those. And then select these two, E to extrude, and pull them down pretty much to the bottom of this unit. F to make a face. Select it all, F to make a face. So I've got this solid piece, and I'm going to extrude it back in and delete that back face. And so we have sort of a connection piece. I could move this out if I want. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bevel a bit. I'm going to select this edge and this edge, and I'm going to bevel it with 3. select the top, and I'm going to bevel it back like that. And I'll shade smooth. And I might angle it out, but I'm not sure. I'm going to select all these pieces, look from the front, and I'll go into edit mode. And I'm just going to pull it out a little bit, and I might pull it down. So we got that. Okay. What I'll do eventually is I'll join all this, and then I'll spin it around so we have the right number of these. I also want to put a bolt on here. I think I'll make a new one, or will I use this one? No, I will use this one. It doesn't look like I put on that weighted normal. The normal's auto smooth to fix that. Anyways, I'm going to come in here and grab a little bit of this and Shift D to duplicate, pull that down, and let's pull it way out. P to break it out. We're going to use this. I'm going to look from the front and press G and just drag it down and over. So I want to have it over to the side. So let's just get this where we want it, like that. So let's say that was there. Yeah, that could probably work. Maybe up a little bit. I think I'll just copy this, duplicate it, and pull it over there. And I'm going to take this, and I'm going to join that right now. Okay. And make sure it's facing the right way. Everything's cool. So do I like that? I'm not really crazy about this thread going into there. It doesn't seem to really make sense, but I think it's going to be okay. Is there anything else I need to do to this? Let's just have a look. Here, nothing. You can see I've got the bolts on there anyhow. I do seem to have thread there. Maybe it's just that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm going to join those together and join it to that. Now, it's all one piece, and texturing, well, we'll deal with that. We'll figure that out. The unwrapping and all that. Let's look down from the top. Let's select something central and bring my 3D cursor there and take that piece, switch to 3D. I'm going to do it in edit mode. Shift D, rotate 180. Select everything, Shift D, rotate 90. Now, right at this point, these are in line with these. What I would probably do, but I may not do it now in case I have to do a bit more, is I'd rotate them 45. And just for that. But in case I need to do some end-on editing right now, I'm just going to leave them like that. So that looks okay. Can we get anything else going on? The shadows, is that going to help us? Let's have a look with a shinier matte cap without that. Okay, let's take everything and bring it up like that. We'll get rid of that. Okay, looks a little bit like a spider or something like that. Do it to top another time. So it's very easy to do, not too detailed or anything. Let's think about the stand. Maybe I'll do a simple stand. So maybe I'll bring in a circle, 22, and just make something simple for now. Do it like that, fill it, maybe extrude down, scale out. I think I wanted that further down, and maybe come down like that. I'm going to flip that. Okay, and then bevel. Shift Alt and click all these edges. Control B, make sure we got 3, shade smooth, maybe a subdivision, you know, but we'll get rid of the bottom though. That'll make it look better. We can for now. Let's take the whole thing again and bring it up. Okay, what do we want to do up here? hide inset. Maybe we'll extrude up. And I've seen some pretty fancy designs for this stuff. So just do that. I'll do that. Stop. Let's bevel this stuff here. Okay. I wonder if I just want to do something simple up here. Let's see what happens if we just do something simple. Bend it in and bevel it like that. Because if I do that, then I can come back and work on the other stuff. Okay. Yeah, okay. How are we doing? Is anybody? Okay. I need to make a little toggle switch to turn this on and off. So I'm going to do that real quick. I'm going to take a circle here. In fact, I'm not putting a subdivision on, so I'm coming back to this. Okay. Take a circle, Shift D, bring it out, scale it down, P to break it out. Okay. E to extrude, come in, come up, take that and extrude down, flip, yeah. Take this, E and S, come in. Let's bring the 3D cursor there and bring in a UV sphere of 16. Scale it down like that. The other thing is, I think I will take that edge and bring it down. Just go ahead and bevel. I'll always feel better when it's beveled. It always looks better to me and shades smooth. I didn't bevel this edge here, however. And I may never see that because this guy's gonna, you know, like that. Okay. I'm going to get rid of the bottom. And I got that guy. We can shade smooth. Okay, that looks good. I might add a subdivision just because. And let's see. Oh, maybe I could just use this again. Be a little high poly, but Shift D to duplicate, scale it down, P to break it out. Take this. No, this may not have been the best way to do it. Extrude down in. Yeah, it's fine. I can just scale it in like that. Okay, so let me just scale Shift Z. Something like that. Maybe this stuff is too big for that. Okay, and maybe we'll take this. The 3D cursor's right there, so maybe I'll switch to the 3D cursor and then just rotate, you know, like that. And at that point, this is a subdivision, so I'm going to apply it. I'm going to come in. I'm going to clean up just a little bit real quick. I just wanted the smoothness, so some of these edges aren't necessary. You know, so it's not too high poly. Okay, I'm going to take this, this, and this, and I'm going to join them. And now I'm going to try to place this on here somehow. So let's see. Let's go back to median point. If I was to rotate Y 90, it's not exactly how I would want it. And if I take these at this point and I rotate them 45 so I can get this guy, let's scale that down. I might have it in that orientation. Let's just take this and push it further back in. Like that. Something looks funny about it. Let's look from the side. Let's see if we just rotate this 90 degrees, maybe minus 90 degrees. Okay, I better look down from the top. No, it looks the way it's supposed to. All right. Okay, I guess I could live with that. So I've now rotated those 45. I got the toggle switch on there, and that's not bad. What I want to do at this point is take this, Shift D to duplicate, P to break it out, take that, scale it in. That's going to fit in there. I'm going to come down, F to make a face, and I'm going to bring the 3D cursor there. Look from the front. And I can do it in edit mode. I really want this face selected anyhow. Press N and let's go to the 3D cursor. And let's slide that out a little bit, like that. And we'll come to the spin tool. And I'm going to spin like this, but I'm going to try 45 degrees with 6 steps. Yeah, okay. And I'm going to, with that face selected, I'm going to switch to normal. I want to give myself a bit more room. I'm going to extrude out just a little bit. I'm going to eye to inset a bit, extrude in, get rid of that face. I'm going to bevel these two edges here with 3. I'm going to focus on this, and I'm going to make sure it's not flipped, and to close that. We'll shade smooth, bring everything back for a second. I just want to think. I think I want some thread on this, and so I'm going to select that edge, but I'll go back to global and pull it down a little bit. E and S come in, E and extrude up. I might have to make it all a bit bigger, like that. I'm going to bevel this edge and this edge here with 3. And for now, I'm going to pull it down so I can see what I'm doing. And roll my mouse up. 3, Control B. I just want 2. E and Alt S, push out. And let's see if we get something that kind of looks like that. Okay. All right. So with that, what I need, in fact, I could do the following. I could take this, Shift D to duplicate, P to break it out, take that fillet, and then switch to normal, and then extrude out a ways. I don't care how far actually. I'm just going to delete that face, and we'll delete that face and shade smooth. And now I would rotate, and this might be flipped, but yeah, it wasn't. And at that point, I'm going to rotate the rocket. I'm going to just hide that for the moment. So what I want to do, I think, can I just rotate 45 like that? I did an object mode, but you can see that this was pointing downwards now. And I can make this longer. I can do whatever I want. I'm just going to grab the rocket and just sort of move it like that. I'm going to Alt H, bring back the stand. In fact, let's just take the stand and bring it up until it sort of makes contact. And I'm not saying I'm going to leave it at that. It's close, but I think I'm going to put some thread on this one. I'm going to save. Yeah, let's do that. Let's drag an edge loop up to about maybe there. Let's go back to global. Maybe there. Shift Alt and click those faces, E and Alt S, and pull them in. Now that's going to cause a problem in that there's some extra faces in here. So I'm going to get rid of those, and we're going to bevel here. I mean, we're moving kind of quick, but we're not really doing anything complicated. Make sure there's 3. And I'm just going to bring that down so that the thread is a little tighter. Do that. Obviously, my thread is all different size. I'm not being consistent, but who cares about that stuff? You know, that kind of thing. And then I think just down here, I would, we'll just end this because otherwise it goes on forever. Let's just do this. Let's just go E and S, come out and just come down. There's no face on there, is there? No. And then just bevel here. I don't know if that's good. I might change my mind later. I want something better. If I put the shadow on, is that up high enough? It's possible I would raise it, but we'll see. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'll just pull this down and pull that down. Do I want this piece longer? It's possible that I would want this piece longer, like this. And then take this, drag it down like that. I don't know. I don't really know at this point. Now it almost looks too even, and maybe it's fine like that. You know, I don't know about this. Maybe I could put some bolts around there or something. But yeah, that's kind of what we're coming up with. Anyhow, yeah, to try and get it done on camera in one video. Let's just see what she looks like. Let's turn off the screencast keys too. What I like to do, as you probably already know, I'm just going to leave it as called collection. Is do the following. Let's Shift C to bring the 3D cursor back there. Shift A, collection instance collection. Just bring another one in and say rotate 90. No, not that. Rotate Z 90. Have it another orientation, and then this one say rotate Z 45, and you know, just so you can see it in different orientations to get a decent sense of it. Yeah, so that's what she looks like. All right, so look, I'll leave it at that, and if I think of anything that needs to be changed or mistakes I made, we'll come back and fix them, and then I will try to unwrap this and texture it and give it sort of the steampunk kind of look. All right, so we'll try to do that in the next video.